Hey Hawks Nation, this is episode 4 of my summer series where I'm having a conversation with a senior on the 2020 Heritage High School cross country team. This week we moved to Heritage High School rather than our typical Wicks Park on Wednesday for a morning session. And this conversation is with Ally Wehner-Bourdow, who I've identified since pretty early on in her high school career as someone that I saw as a leader and definitely had the abilities and tools to be an effective teammate and leader for our cross country program. So I'm excited to bring you today a discussion with Ally. This morning it was really fun. I feel like these are getting better and better, and I hope you're enjoying them. So stay tuned for my chat with Ally.
All right. I'm Alexandria Wehner-Bourdow. I go to Saginaw Heritage, and I'm a senior, and I'm one of the captains.
And how long have you been running cross country, Ally?
Since 6th grade, so that's 7 years now, right?
Wow, you're in your 7th year. That's awesome. That's a long time to be a runner, and you certainly know a lot about yourself as a runner and about Heritage Cross Country, so that's exciting. Okay, so now I'll ask you approximately 7 questions, just kind of random, as I maybe mentioned earlier. Some are hopefully a little bit fun, and some will be similar to questions you maybe have seen me ask others in previous videos, but the idea is just to introduce you as an incredibly committed and accomplished part of Heritage Cross Country to people, and to bring some attention to what we're trying to do with Heritage Cross Country, because we believe we're very special, and you certainly have been a big part of that over your 3 years with me and your time in middle school, and I'm excited to help see you through the rest of your journey this year as a senior. So thank you for doing this for me.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so over the years I've gotten to know a lot about how you are very thoughtful about what your intentions are and how your actions are going to have an impact on things. It seems to me that's a really incredible trait that you have already, and that's why I've identified you as a leader going all the way back to freshman year even. I told you I would see you being a leader. So we'll start with something a little bit more, kind of a deeper question just to get us going, but there'll be some fun questions as we go.
Okay.
So let's do this one. What is the greatest piece of advice you've received in cross country?
Oh, that one's tough, actually. I've had a ton of good advice thrown at me. I'd say probably just, keep going, like hard work. Even when it gets tough, just push through it, and you can see your way to the end,
Yeah, that's really good advice, because a lot of people, they know running's difficult, but they don't, not everyone is persistent enough to see it through, as you said. And if you are persistent to see it through, you will have those moments you truly earned, and that feeling is incredible. So I think that's a really good response to that. That's some very broad and foundational kind of advice. So that's a good answer.
Thank you.
What is your favorite pre-race meal?
Oh, spaghetti. Just spaghetti.
Yeah, that's like always carbs. Runners always want carbs, and spaghetti's obviously a common one that a lot of people feel safe, but yet
Yeah.
also brings a lot with it with other traditions. I could have asked you that question. Traditions like a team dinner, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
I love team dinners.
Yeah, so spaghetti is an incredibly deep answer if people know cross country runners. So I think so. Oh, I like this one for you. If you could be any animal in the world, what would you be and why?
Oh my goodness. Of course you would ask me this one. I'm the one that wants to be a freaking DNR.
Yes.
I probably a cheetah, just because that's my favorite animal. That, and they go super fast. I mean, they don't have the best endurance, but the speed is cool.
Yes, absolutely.
They're also amazing hunters, so that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I love cheetahs too. They're one of my favorites. Who are your role models, both in and out of cross country?
Ooh. Out of cross country, I'd say my dad. You know, he's pushed me throughout the years, and sometimes it's like, it's super tough and all that, but I know at the bottom of his heart he just wants to see me succeed, and I really, really appreciate that from him. And in cross country, I'd probably say you, Lubert, because
Well, thank you, Ally.
you've pushed me to be a better runner and stuff, and it's been quite the inspiration, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate that, and that's why I think we've had a pretty good run so far together, is because I think we have a good relationship as coach and athlete, and that's really my goal. You know, it's not always going to be possible for everybody, because you know how relationships are, right? They just,
Yes.
you know, the match has to be there, at least in part, and understanding has to be there, and I think you've done a good job with that, and I appreciate that. We'll ask you a school-related one a little bit. What has been your favorite class at Heritage so far?
Favorite class would be IB Bio HL Year 2.
And who was your teacher for that?
Mrs. Morse.
That's what I thought, but I want to make sure, because obviously that's changed over the years a little bit, so that's great to recognize that. I'm sure if she sees this, she'd be pretty excited to know that that class meant something to you.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so the last two that I kind of ask everybody, and you already touched on this first one, but I think these are important as a veteran athlete on a team, and especially as a captain. The example that you're setting in a number of ways is important to share with the younger runners and other athletes, even for that matter. So I like to ask these two questions because, especially this first one, because it kind of gives people an idea of where their peers are when they're at the same grade level. You know, and everybody's going to be in a different place with this journey question, sort of. I guess I haven't put it that way, but it's sort of a journey question. But you're on a journey, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life, and you've already touched on this, as I said. But where are you in deciding your plan for after high school, and what is your dream job?
Well, okay, so after high school, I'm going to go to college. I'm gonna, like, study law enforcement because I want to be a DNR, because that's part of it. And like I just said, I want to be a DNR, but I also want to, I have like other like separate things I want to do. Like I want to be a part-time beekeeper.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
And I also want to try and start my own no-kill animal shelter. So I just, you know, I think that would be fun and stuff, and I'd probably take volunteers and all that, kind of like the Amazing Grace Foundation.
Yeah, what I think is interesting about that is there's, like we talked before about different paths you can take to be a DNR officer. One of them is a more traditional law enforcement route, but there are sometimes these programs specifically called conservation and law enforcement. And whatever route you take to get to your goal isn't what I'm trying to say matters so much, because that's personal to how, you know, to your decision in this journey. But I just think that title, conservation law enforcement, and then the fact that you mentioned all of those things explains very well why you're thinking about going into law enforcement to protect our wildlife and to protect nature. And I think that's pretty cool. So I take for people to hear why, or more broadly what you're thinking is pretty interesting. So it's a good answer. Okay, so last one. I always have everyone give a shout out to a favorite teacher or any faculty member, anyone who's worked at, I guess it could be even White Pine. I've been saying Heritage to most people, but through your journey in Saginaw Township schools, give a shout out to somebody who's meant something, and a lot of people have meant something to you, I'm sure of it, but
Yes.
give a shout out to somebody who you want to give a shout out today.
I'd probably give a shout out to Mama Morris, honestly. I mean, favorite class, you know. She was super sweet, super kind. She was always like right there, and she like knew when I had a bad day, and she was like super nice to me that day. It was awesome. She was awesome. Classes were awesome. Very good vibes. It was just, I always got excited when I went into that class. Like, I was never like, dang it, IB Bio. I was always like, yes, IB Bio.
That's great. That's great because that shows that she's been an effective teacher to be able to inspire students. Is, I think, just like in coaching, there's a little bit of overlap between coaches and teachers in some ways, and being able to reach and inspire people is amazing. So I'm glad to hear that she was able to do that for you, and I'm certain many others. So thanks for recognizing her, and thanks for doing this for me and for your team. It's another reflection of your positive and energetic leadership that as I said in the beginning, I identified you in that way almost immediately in your freshman season, and it's exciting for me that we're finally here, and I'm hopeful that we get to finish what we started. So thanks for doing this for Heritage Cross Country, and for me personally, because this is a project that means something to me, and you know, as we chatted about earlier, why I'm doing this, and if it's meaningful and fun for just the two of us, whoever's doing the interview, as I said to you a minute ago, then I'm happy with that. But I hope a lot of people get to see what kind of a student athlete that you are, and that although you're exceptional, cross country is full of so many exceptional people, and that's what I wanna share with people. So thanks again for doing this, Ally.
Of course.
Yep.
It was fun.
Good.